The Middle East is tumbling toward full-scale combat this morning as Israel battles enemies on two fronts, Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. Israeli warplanes again attacked Lebanon's international airport Thursday, effectively shutting it down during the height of the tourist season. This after Hezbollah launched scores of rockets into Israel and for the first time striking targets in the port city of Haifa. Joining us with some insight is Director of the Middle East Studies Program at Johns Hopkins University and CBS News Middle East consultant Fuad Ajami. Mr. Ajami is also the author of the new book, The Foreigner's Gift, The Americans, the Arabs, and the Iraqis in Iraq. Fuad joins us now. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you very much.
It seems as if the situation just gets worse by the hour. Is there any way from keeping this crisis from spreading throughout the region?
Well, I think it was predictable. I mean, this crisis was willed by Hezbollah. Was produced by the leader of Hezbollah, this young, cynical cleric, Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah. He wanted this crisis. And, of course, he wanted it on behalf of his masters. His masters are really in Tehran. It's really the Iranians who run Hezbollah by remote control. So, in fact, the crisis is playing out in Lebanon, but there are actors beyond and larger and much more powerful than Lebanon. There is the ruler in Damascus, Bashar al-Assad, and he wants a piece of this crisis. And then there are the people in Tehran who really basically subsidize and finance Hezbollah. Think of Hezbollah as a wholly owned Iranian subsidiary, basically.
Well, can you talk about the timing of this a little bit from the Hezbollah point of view? It all started with the kidnapped soldier from the Palestinians, and then they came into play. Is there a reason for the timing?
Well, that's a good question. It's like what I like to call it mischief envy. You know, if the Hamas people can kidnap an Israeli soldier, well, Hezbollah can kidnap two soldiers. It really is the timing was Hezbollah's own timing and Iran's own timing. If you want to destabilize the region, but you want the fury of America and the fury of Israel kept away from yourself in Tehran, well, you play it on the Israeli-Lebanese border. Think of the Israeli-Lebanese border as indirectly, if you will, as a Lebanese-Iranian border, because nothing happens on that border without the will and without the direction of Tehran. So there are Lebanese Hezbollah reasons, because this man who runs Hezbollah is a big player in Lebanon. And Hezbollah, you think of it, it's ironic. It has one foot in the government and one foot in terror. It participates in the Lebanese government, but it's also outside the Lebanese government.
Well, the Lebanese government, they're calling for a ceasefire right now. How likely is that?
Well, the Lebanese government is hopelessly and pathetically weak. The man who runs it is a very decent man, a technocrat, but he doesn't really control these furies in his own country. So the Lebanese government, in a way, in some sad way, has very, very little control over its own territory. You can't have a sovereign Lebanese government and an armed militia, Hezbollah, at the same time. If you wanted a ceasefire, if the Lebanese government genuinely wanted a ceasefire, it would send its own soldiers to the border, but that it does not do.
Well, Iran has said that they're fierce supporters of Syria, and if Israel goes after Syria, they will take action. What kind of consequences would we be looking at that point?
If I were to hazard a guess, and you can bring me back and have me come and revisit my prophecies and my predictions, I don't think the Iranians and the Syrians will be drawn into it. Lebanon, unfortunately, is a theater for this confrontation. And the Israeli Prime Minister was forced into this. You can't wake up in the morning and be told that your soldiers have been kidnapped, your soldiers have been killed in an act without any provocation, and accept this. So the crisis is playing out in Lebanon. Iran and Syria are in the background, and I think Prime Minister Olmert doesn't really want to be drawn into a wider war with either the Syrians
or the Iranians. So you don't think Iran would get involved?
I think the Iranians will threaten to get involved. But, you know, they have the action they want, this remote control through Hezbollah and through Lebanon.
How is this affecting civilians on a daily basis? I mean, this is the height of tourist season.
Sure, that's a good question. And I've spent a lot of time today talking to, good Lebanese friends. They are grief-stricken by what's happening. This is the tourist season, as you said. Lebanon lives on tourist income. Saudis, Kuwaitis fleeing the heat. They come to Lebanon. Lebanon dug out of rubble and ruin. Beirut was rebuilt. And the pain of the Lebanese now is watching their country being plunged into the terrors of days past.
Right. Meanwhile, the offensive is still going on in Gaza. It's been going on for 2 weeks now. What's it going to take to end that? Are we going to see that soldier released who was kidnapped?
Well, I think that, in a way, that's the responsibility of the Palestinian government, quote-unquote government. But since it's a Hamas government, that too is one foot in politics and one foot in terror. A lot of it will depend on the Palestinian president, because Mahmoud Abbas, he must cap that volcano, and he must step back from the brink, and he must turn over and liberate that Israeli soldier. Otherwise, the bets are off between Israel and the Palestinians.
Will we see any action from the UN? We saw the U.S. veto the Muslim-backed action yesterday.
Well, the UN is, in many ways, pathetically ineffective. I mean, there are all kinds of UN resolutions. For example, there are resolutions that call for the disarmament of Hezbollah, and they have not been enforced. I think the UN is not really the main players here will be the Iranians, the Syrians, the Israelis, and then behind them, perhaps, some of the Arab governments are very nervous about the larger instability stalking this region.
Right. We don't have a lot of time left, but what's going to take to end this violence?
Well, I think what it will take is that at some point the Lebanese government must reclaim its own country. The Lebanese government and the Lebanese population must say they're fed up with Hezbollah and they don't accept an armed militia in their country.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us. Fouad Ajami, Director of Middle East Studies at Johns Hopkins University and CBS News Middle East Consultant. Thank you.
Thank you.